Trust Cast. We made it all the way to episode 8. 8's my
Need
lucky
one of those
number.
people. Yeah,
So-
one of my favorite numbers. I need one of those people that goes like, action.
Action. Go. We're there.
Never know which way to like actually start one of those shows. It's like,
Yeah, we don't-
all right, hi, we're your host, Mike and Ike, and we're gonna fucking have fun and talk about some shit and make you think a little bit. That's what we're gonna do. So let's jump in, right? You know, the intros are always funny.
we need like some sort of announcer, like coming to you live via the internet, straight to your home, streaming directly in. This is Zero Trust Cast, brought to you by No Fucking Buddy, because we don't accept money. We're telling lies.
True.
True.
That's funny.
You hear about Dr. Disrespect? Let's talk about that. He got zapped right
did
off
we
the
hear
internet.
about it?
I don't know what the hell
Or
happened.
did you not hear about it?
I don't know.
I think what I heard was I didn't hear. That's what I keep hearing is like
No one knows. He's gone.
not there. Yeah. So yeah, if that's the case, it's one of two things. Either this is a very big deal and it has legal consequences, so nobody can say shit, right? So there's one. There's no reason to be this quiet on all sides for this long. Like the whole weekend is like light years in internet time, right?
True.
So like that's a long time to stay mum. Or it's the biggest, and it's going to probably be one of the most successful trolls ever. So one of the two, and I think they're both pretty extreme, but still, that's my hot take. What about you? And what did you hear?
I heard nothing. All I heard was that he's gone, disappeared. I don't know like how, like did he get disappeared as in his like channel is gone, banned, like you can't watch it. I don't know how all the minutia of how Twitch works here, even though we're on Twitch. So like where?
Well, I know a little about that. So one, and just like even their response to this is basically they gave the cookie cutter responses. We don't report or give any more information until it's fully investigated. But he is banned. He's currently banned.
Okay.
We just don't know if it's going to be permanent, as in forever, and that's what people are saying.
It can't be a troll,
or if it's going to be temporary.
Because it would require complicity from Twitch, right, to say that he's banned. And why would Twitch? Unless Twitch, but see, Twitch is winning the streaming war so hardcore, right? Mixer's gone.
Oh, because Mixer's gone?
Yeah.
And just said, peace.
Yeah, Shroud and Ninja are walking away with big old paydays, interestingly enough.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Come on.
No, it's already,
we'll see
that
about
I read about, and I did a little research. Their contracts were like, hey, $30 million come to our platform. They got the $30 million, and like,
wasn't it for years worth of deals? It wasn't just all money up front.
Yeah, it was unless that you can't stream, right? So the money was up front as long as they didn't go back anywhere. Well, they haven't gone back anywhere because there's nowhere. They had to stay on the platform, and the platform's not there. Therefore, they can go back and not have to return.
They're going to be released from their contracts. Yeah,
right,
exactly.
So,
which I think is weird. I would think that because Mixer's not going. It didn't just like die and shut off the lights. Nobody's home, right?
No,
somebody bought it out.
Well, no,
who bought it out?
Facebook, but I don't think they bought it out. Like,
yeah,
I think Microsoft's just sort of given up on this. I was like, well, we'll take the money from. I mean, they are getting bought. I assume there's some exchange of value here between Microsoft and Facebook, but it's unclear what exactly it is.
But I mean, so if Mixer was willing to spend that much money on this talent, why wouldn't they transition that into Facebook deal? Yeah, right. I mean, like shit. Like
some lawyer screwed up here, right? Because if it's
somewhere,
like, okay, we bought Mixer, but we didn't get the two biggest stars that Mixer paid for to have on their platform. How does that happen?
Right.
Makes no sense.
Maybe also Facebook is just really like focusing on their long game of like, we're just going to gobble everything up until everything is through Facebook, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's their long-term plan, but everything that I'm hearing is people don't want to be on Facebook streaming, right? Facebook is already sort of the cesspool of the internet in terms of content.
True. And like, but here's the thing though, is like the hard thing is, so it's not the platform for people like you and I, right?
Right.
And other people that are like more gamer centric, more a little advanced into the technology, but it is for all the fucking housewives and all the people starting their home businesses and becoming internet influencers. So like I don't they could make a shit ton of money from advertisement, like we talked about in the first couple of episodes, right?
Mm,
You know, getting your attention through that because of just another platform that they really don't have to do work on, right? Mixer's already made and built into every fucking console in the, i.e., Xbox console,
sure.
go straight to more traffic to Facebook. Like, I mean, that's fucking smart. So I don't know. I mean, maybe something else is going on.
Well, yeah,
It's weird. It's the Go ahead.
I'd love to know what Facebook's streaming strategy is, if they have one. Or maybe they're just like, we're big enough that if we offer this organic growth, we'll have the Karens of the internet, so to speak, on our platform, because they're not going to figure out how Twitch works, but they already are on Facebook. And so when they want to go
Right.
live with their opinions, they'll already be on the Facebook app, and there'll be a button that they can just, view their uh, whatever
Well,
opinions.
yeah, their stream, right?
Right.
So, the one thing that I'm also noticing in tandem with that is I'm seeing more of like live now, and I'm scrolling through things. I'm like, wait, why do I want to see who's live on Facebook?
Mm.
But they're doing it. They're actually advertising almost their service of like, hey, you would be interested in this person. And it's like, okay, I'm not really interested in Facebook streaming, but now it's also got me thinking, am I interested in Facebook streaming?
Yeah, maybe we
Can
should be
I get
on Facebook
contacts
streaming.
to more people? Yeah, could I like widen my audience and be able to have more? Wow, it's now comes the truth of we are part of and have to play the game too,
Well,
right? We
it's
have
a
to gain people's
game.
attention.
It's a game and a meta game, right? It's providing good content, but also being on the correct platform with the correct audience and the correct targeting and the marketing, such as it is,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
there's all that. It's a complicated thing.
What so then this I love how this okay, that just that worked out and rolled in naturally. So let's talk about this then because I mean we are here I believe, to really think through things, deconstruct how we assess things, and to come to trust things as a source, and then incorporate it into our lives and move forward with to make better choices and decisions in our lives.
Sure.
Right, to find the truth of things and such. So with that, like trying to figure out what I need to do for myself to move along in this world, but also be as truthful and uh, not a
Unbiased?
sellout, I guess. Yeah, yeah, and I'm biased, right? But moving forward in my life as well, and approaching these topics like bias, like oh, everybody is just all about advertising because they're trying to get our attention,
Mm-hmm.
and we're pointing like we're looking at it, we're trying to deconstruct it and go like, yeah, look at that, but we're also a part of the process and the system that keeps it rolling.
Yeah.
So it's like we kind of got to look at it, and go like, as we can deconstruct this, realize we're part of it.
Mm.
We're
Mm-hmm.
actually either propagating it or things that we don't like that we help shift away from what services we use and don't use.
Sure.
So I think it's cool to like be open about everything. And it's like we're part of the system. We're
Right.
obviously using one of the tools, Twitch, which is backed by one of the largest conglomerates in the fucking universe, the human universe that we know of, Amazon, which I
Right.
happen to absolutely love. Like I love the way that they run their business. I love how easy it's made things for me in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I still call the Echo my digital bay. Like, and it's so funny. It's a joke in my house and just with my friends that like seriously, I have the longest love term relationship that I've had in a while with the digital assistant. I fucking love her. Right? Fuck all the phones. Fuck Siri. Fuck like Microsoft's Cortana. Like fuck all of them. Like she is my bay. So it's just like it's cool to be on this platform, but also be critical of it
Mm.
and the choices and decisions they make.
Right. Well, I mean, so hypothetically, we build up an audience, and some cybersecurity firm comes to us and says, hey, we'll give you $5,000 if you do an episode and talk about our service. The hypothetical.
Okay.
Well, what would we do
Uh-huh.
in that situation? How much is our integrity to be able to be free of any undue influence worth?
Right. Okay, so we have a couple of things as we go through topics for this cast, and so we have this document that both Entropy Sword and myself, Dark D, go through and keep track of as we're doing this, and so like they ask tough questions, hard hitting questions, like what are you willing to die for, and what are you willing to live through,
Hmm.
which we will eventually like filter through those and take those in and maybe continue to come back around to them. But also, I think another one we need to add in there is what's your price.
Oh, that's a
Right? Does
yeah.
everybody have a price, right? So let's answer this individually because we haven't already like preempted this. This is always all on the fly, which I
Sure.
love. Um, my uh, I would, because it would be like for me, it would be an exercise to one, a good exchange.
Hmm.
Two, they're using my services to actually break it down and look into it. My only caveat would be that I would be able to look at it and come to my own conclusion, even if it's your product sucks,
Right.
right? With my opinions, that would have to be my caveat. That's it. So
Hmm.
like I don't see like why not? Like absolutely exchange for services to do that, to like break down something and then thoughtfully think through how trustworthy this
Hmm.
product would be. I'd be down. Like
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. We could apply
What
zero
about for yourself?
trust to it.
Yeah,
I'm sort
exactly.
of leery of doing it, right? Because
Okay.
it ruins, it doesn't ruin, but it sullies the basic purpose of zero trust, which is saying,
Mhm.
all right,
Mhm.
we're accepting value, and I mean, you really would have complete freedom. Like, all right, we've
And
been
you'd have to have your
paid,
biases in check,
right? We've been
right?
paid
Go ahead.
to review this, but we're not going to give it any benefit of the doubt to do so, which would be probably problematic for the marketing person who wanted to put us there. Like, well, no, you can't say this, or you can't come to this conclusion, or like maybe you should
Right.
minimize these software bugs that you ran into during testing and don't mention that. Like, well,
Yeah, no. I,
no.
I and I think the funny thing too is when marketing goes to look for what they invest in, right, to
Mm-hmm.
market, right, and if we would be a product that would help sell their wares, so to speak, they would do a little investigation, go like, well, I don't know, these guys are always focusing on zero trust, breaking it down, right, and coming to a conclusion with their best rigorous mind they have. Yeah, I don't think they're going to like deal with caveats, but then again, there's some marketing people that are stupid and they're just
Right.
like, dude, yeah. But also at the same time, like who knows? Bad news isn't necessarily bad news in the
Mm,
internet time of things, right? In the TV time of things.
right.
Drama seems to draw more right?
Right.
More eyes, more attention than logical, calm discussion.
Sure.
So maybe they're like, oh yeah, let's have them make it dramatic. Fuck that. Let's go.
Yeah.
Right. And then they can rebut back to us. And then there's all kinds of things. So
Sure.
you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. Like it's all a fucking game. So I think it's really important for you to always practice zero trust. Always.
Yeah.
But god
We
damn,
could
that sounds
already be
tiring.
sponsored, and
Already be what?
we could already be sponsored. We could already be suspect, right?
Good point.
For our
We
listeners.
good.
We're always
Yeah.
talking about zero trust. What kind of companies are interested in zero trust? Hmm,
Right.
who knows?
Yeah. Are any backing us? Who
Yeah.
knows? Are we telling you the truth?
Yeah.
Hopefully you don't have to rely on our words. You can build up your own mental faculties to get there, right? To get to your own decisions. And I think that's another valuable thing about what we're doing here
Mm-hmm.
is don't trust our word, because sometimes we're fumbling around too in the night, just like anybody trying to figure out things in the
Yep.
world. But we're working at it and we're willing to share, I think, anything we come across in our unearthings or discoveries of just through our chats.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is kind of an interesting test case of what zero trust is, what this podcast cast means, what purpose it serves in the greater world, right? And
Right.
how much value it creates and disseminates to the wider audience. And there is a gamification and a monetization that's inevitable at every level.
Yeah, and
But
it's going to
that
affect drive and bias. So, which is just it's the natural state of the game. So you have to be aware of that,
right?
right?
Yeah.
I
I
would
mean,
think if yeah,
you were talking about your sort of bias for Amazon, right? And
Right. Absolutely.
that is something that we have to take into account, that we're on an Amazon platform, and
Yep.
at least one of us is sort of biased towards Amazon in certain ways, and I
Right.
am in other ways. I love my Kindle, um, but there's all this fighting for mind share. So I got a Google Nest Mini sent to me for free. It sort of
Okay.
arrived, right? They popped it up in my notifications of my email, I think it was, and they were like, "Hey, do you want a Nest Mini? We'll send it to you for free."
For free.
For free. Yeah.
Free.
So, um,
Free.
free,
Be
which
careful
again
of that word free.
means I'm the product.
Continue.
I'm the data stream they'd like to monetize. Um,
Not free.
yeah, not free. Uh,
You still have to hit an accept button. So
oh,
it's not free.
I had
But
to hit
yes.
many accept buttons to get it
There you go.
to function properly. And then it wanted to integrate with all my services. It was like, "Hey, do you have this? Hey, you have Xbox. We want to be able to talk to your Xbox and like log into that account. Hey, can we store your Wi-Fi password?" I was like, of course you can. You already know it, Google.
I like
Don't
how
play
you just
coy with
resigned to
me.
the fact. Of course you can. You probably already know it.
Well, my phone's logged into it. My phone. Who owns my phone? Google, right?
I
They
thought you
created
did.
Android. Well, I mean, I physically have it in my possession, but do I
Right.
own the source code that runs it? Do I have I audited all the code that runs on it?
Touche.
I
Right.
you know, zero trust has certain limits that we have to understand, that
Yes.
to be a participant in society, you have to have some trust, right? Absolute zero
Yep.
trust, you lock everything down, nobody communicates with anything. We've talked about this before, and it just sort of ends. It's over, right?
Yes.
You're
Yeah.
not part of
You,
society
you go into
anymore.
psychosis. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
some sort of paranoid, delusional state.
Exactly.
Um, so there has
Wait,
to be
are you
some
thinking about
trust.
going there? Don't think about going
Well,
there.
well, no,
I like how you stopped there for a minute. You're like,
I had a thought,
which
and
way do I go?
I was watching the Twilight Zone, original Twilight Zone, last night, and the episode that we watched was about machines. There's this guy. He's this like super British guy. He's into like wine and food, and he's a critic. And he starts to suspect that the machines in his life are against him. And like he breaks his TV, and the TV repairman is like, "Well, somebody was back there tearing out the wires." He's like, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." And he's like, "Well, keep having me come here and repair this stuff. No, you're just a thief, basically. Machines are just designed to break and cost me money, and out of my own control, the car the other day hit the wall, and now I need new headlights, $180." And then he starts to sort of lose it, and loses all trust for machines, and they're like, get the hell out," and he dies in a long, convoluted Twilight Zone way.
Who says who get like so the society basically kicks the man out who starts not trusting the machines?
The machines do it. His car chases him, right? We see his car chasing him around.
So they actually do that.
Right.
So
Well,
machines are against him.
I
Nobody
mean,
nobody believes him though, or are we also
no.
in question of that?
I mean, you could watch the episode multiple ways, but
Okay.
in the way it's presented, yes, his typewriter is typing "get out." His phone calls him, even though it's unplugged from the wall, and says "get out." He goes outside. His car turns on, lights come on, and starts chasing him around his apartment. Right?
Got it.
That's like 1950s paranoia, zero trust.
Right.
If we live in that today, right, with our machines as adversaries, we're dead in seconds, right? We have so many more machines, and they have so much more power over us.
Power and so much more control, or so much
Yeah.
more access,
So much
right,
more
into
access.
every little thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's kind of where the zero trust starts, is that like, okay, we do have to give some access, we do have to give some control, we do have to take in some information from outside sources, But
Right.
can we do some sort of process on it before we integrate it into the self, into our being, that
Right.
is like, wait a
Yeah, into our
minute,
trust
yeah,
mechanisms.
our trust
That then
mechanisms,
further, yeah, that further go and assess other threats, right?
right?
Incoming. Absolutely. Some of them you almost have to like do the quick one take on and go like, I know that I'm not going to be able to vet this to my best ability right now, so it's
Mm-hmm.
going to go in with a like a caveat note that it's like it's a bias or it's an unchecked thing that
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with. I know I do that like a lot. I'll be like, okay, on face value, I'm going to take that. I'm going to run with that because that feels right. But know that that's suspect because you really didn't do any rigorous thinking about this. So if you start getting heated, and that's one of the things that I wrote down and I want to like discuss a little bit on here,
Okay.
because we always come back to it, is emotions.
Yeah.
Because anything that hits our emotions, for me, is suspect.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, period. Right. So that's one of the things to where I don't get on a lot of social justice warriors like that. What they do nowadays, it's almost like we have to make a change. We have to make a change today. There's absolutely no time for fucking thinking. Go. And it's made to make you feel emotional one way or the other. That's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's take it or leave it. It's a very strong, forced, brute force attack on our faculties to like make a decision. And it's like, uh, no, I disagree with your infrastructure and how to even frame the problem.
Right.
So no, like because I don't agree with like whatever you're setting as sides, right? I don't agree with assessments. I don't agree with the emotional level that needs to be there, right? And so once I get heated about things, that's where I go like, you can say absolutely nothing helpful right now. Shut up, because if you're emotional, you're not logical. They
Mm.
don't go together.
Yeah.
So like for me, that's how like it's almost I can say is emotional is some logical dissonance within ourselves, something that's like unable to be resolved, and it's almost like a wire that has impedance that it can't go through. It's just going to start to like back up, right? Like, almost
Mm.
like in heat and start smoldering until it's like
Right.
on fucking fire. Then it explodes.
Yeah.
No, I don't want that, right? Especially in when I'm trying to assess something that's really important to me, and if it's making me emotional and respond in ways that I have no control over, I've lost.
Mm-hmm.
And I further make now I personally will be making bad decisions and bad effects out in my world in my direct group, right? Because I'm following into this trap and following my emotions um for some reason, and I don't even know why. I don't check them. So I
Mm-hmm.
go back to go like, whoa, what got me here? Chill the fuck out. That's why, again, things when I go through social media, things that trigger me and hit me, I'm like, all right, you ain't saying shit about that. Deal with what's going on inside, because clearly something's spiraling you up. Figure out what the fuck that is and resolve it first before you have anything to say.
Yeah. It's almost like emotions are the back door, right? They backdoor the logical mind
Hmm.
and give unauthorized access if you're not careful. I mean,
Right.
even if you are careful, they give unauthorized access, right? You just can't help but follow your emotional response to a certain degree, right?
Right.
Maybe a master Buddhist monk has trained his mind to such a degree that the monkey mind is no longer able to push and pull and get that response. But for the
Right.
vast majority of people, without any mindfulness or training in mindfulness or thinking about mindfulness, they're just going along with whatever wave of emotion comes and pushes them, right? And pushes their boat this way or that way,
Right.
and
Right.
and then sometimes they don't even see that they're being moved by these waves, right? They're just
Right.
that's how it is, and that's how it always has been. Um, so it's interesting to see the ways in which that this emotional backdoor is being more and more tightly exploited, right? We're finding better and better ways to get quick emotional responses and to get
Tonsils. Yeah.
actions out of those. And that's kind
Who?
of
Yeah. Who? Yeah. Who don't take action
right.
generally.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, okay. So like two things on that as well, because emotions backdoor. How do you? Well, let me go into. You said mind share earlier. What does that mean when you say mind share? When you
Mm.
Google Nest was giving you a thing, it was mind share. What I don't know what you mean by that. And I always like try mark earmark terms that I don't understand and want to make sure I'm clear about what you meant. So
Right.
go ahead and
So
speak
so
on that
mind
if
share
you
is
could.
just the presence, right? If you see a big yellow M on a sign, you know what restaurant that is. That's mind share, right? They have a certain resonance in your cognitive being that says, I see a big yellow M, maybe there's some red underneath. You know what I'm talking about, right?
McDonald's,
It's a
right? Yeah,
McDonald's,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
They
Look at
have
that.
mind
Okay.
share, right? So
Wow. They get that space, like, and
it's
they
that
didn't even
presence.
really.
Yeah, they're living in your head sort of rent free. We talk about that. Oh, they're living in your head rent free. Yeah, they kind of are. Um,
Nice.
uh,
I
if
like that concept.
if you know the phrase "I'm loving it," that's also
Of
another,
course.
right? That's another little piece of
Yes.
mind share, a little territory in
Right.
my brain that's been carved out by a corporation. So
That's what marketing. That's when marketing's successful, folks.
that's what marketing is trying to do, is to create that mind share, that awareness, and that immediate, I know what that is. That's a comfortable, familiar thing, right? You don't
That
want to.
deposited language in your head almost,
Mm-hmm,
right? That
mm-hmm.
deposited communication tool for that brand specifically.
Right,
That it's got, like you said, it's there now, so everybody knows from any of those visual cues. Whether you see it in a movie, you see it in driving down the street, you even see something that looks like that on a piece of paper or an abstract art. All of a sudden, you're going to be wanting your Mickey D's with your fucking fries.
right,
It's like, wait, why did I have that? Well, because of mind share.
yeah,
Interesting. Okay.
right. So uh, the mind share that we were talking about is Google, right? Google wants me in their ecosystem as opposed to someone else's ecosystem, because when I'm in their ecosystem, they can sell me ad time. If I'm in somebody else's ecosystem, they can't. Um,
Right.
my MacBook died this week. I'm really sad about it, but I'm getting over it. But when I'm on my Apple, Google doesn't really know what I'm doing unless I'm using and interfacing with Google services. When I'm on my
Right.
Android phone, Google has more complete access to
Access.
my
Right.
data. Now, we could debate for a long time whether Apple or Google or Amazon, who's the worst of these evils or
Mhm.
goods,
Who's being
right?
more invasive.
Who's being more invasive? Who's being more trustworthy with their data policies? But
Right.
as we said, you have to give somebody some trust,
Yep.
or you can't engage, right? You have to have some phone, or you can't make a phone call. You have to have
Right.
some operating system, or you can't do any computing. And
Right.
there'll be people out there, well, you have to use all audited open source software. You can try, but if you're doing that, you're at such a low trust level. You have access to so few of these things that are,
Services that do that.
yeah,
Yeah.
on a net basis, 90% of the time very good, right? It's very
Yes.
difficult to
Agreed.
host your own email server. Go out and try. It's very hard, especially if
Yep.
you don't know
And it
a
takes
whole lot.
money.
Yeah, and it takes a whole lot of money and time and effort. So the trade-off is, well, I'll just let Google do it, or I'll let Apple do it, or
Right.
I'll let XYZ company,
Microsoft.
Yahoo.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Mhm.
yep. So they're all fighting for this mind share, for this control of attention and of the the product of our lives, which is the data that they want. They want to be able to interpret and control the actions that we take as much as possible. Now they don't want to say
Right.
that, right? They've said, "Hey, we want to have you use an Android phone so that we can collect data and sell you advertising." Nobody would use it. But we know that's
Right.
true. Yet still there's this like second level, well, there's all these good things that come from an Android phone, or there's all these good things that come
Right.
from an Apple phone, so it's okay. And
Right.
that's the modern dilemma that we're in as we
Right.
try and practice zero trust, is what are the lesser evils, and how can we mitigate these threats as we uncover them, right?
Right. Well, and it even feels like that businesses like Google, Apple,
Mm-hmm.
all of the email providers and everything are listening in a way. not quickly, but listening to their customers, I get very little spam. I don't sign up for a lot of extra services, and anytime I do, I make sure that I unchuck everything that's unnecessary. A lot of people don't do that, right? A lot of people click through okay without understanding that there's default checkboxes that you don't want.
Mm-hmm.
All of that stuff has made it for like a pretty symbiotic relationship. So
Mm-hmm.
like it's been getting better and better. I'm seeing less of what I don't want to see because clearly it failed in identifying what I wanted, because holy fuck, I'm not a woman. I don't need tampons, right? It is a thing. You may have picked up something from behind me, or like I'm around women a lot. Like that doesn't mean that I want this product, right? Like it's getting better and better to whereas I'm seeing things that going like, okay, I've never heard of that product, but god damn it, I want that product because it actually solves a need that I've had and have thought about 2 times this week.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive and scary at the same
Right.
time that that's happening, right? That thoughts, those things that I haven't articulated, but yet somehow algorithms, like we've talked about before, are being able to assess and mash together and go like, maybe these things.
Right.
And they're right sometimes.
Well,
And I appreciate it. So
yeah,
go ahead.
it does provide value. There's no doubt about it. That I mean, nobody would use these services if Gmail wasn't useful. Nobody would use
Right.
these services if Amazon Alexa was a completely worthless thing, right? It's actually very useful. Does a lot of cool things and a lot of
Yes.
useful things and a lot of things that make our lives easier, right?
Yes.
But at what point are our lives too easy and too controlled, right? Where would that boundary or that cutoff be for you, right?
Got it.
If if let me
That's a good
throw a
question.
hypothetical.
Good. Let's go.
If Alexa was just popped up one day and said, "Hey, Darty, I've noticed that you're low on your favorite beverage, and I've ordered some more for you. So I just wanted to let you know. I hope that's okay." What do you say? When it makes it kind of transitions from "I'm waiting for you to tell me" to "I'm going to tell you."
To I've already done it.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. I so like
Right.
I
And
honestly, because I'm
it
breaking
probably
it down.
won't be
Go ahead.
like that direct. It may just
Yeah.
be, "Hey, Dark D, I've noticed that you regularly consume coffee brand X, and judging from your consumption habits, I think you may be low. Is this correct? Is that a violation of your trust? How do you know I'm low on
Right.
coffee? How are you
How
judging?
do you know, motherfucker?
Yeah, how do you know that I'm low on coffee?" But in the same way, like
Right.
I get these notifications sometimes on my phone, like, "Hey, Graham, it's Grubhub checking in. Dinner time's coming soon. You want to place an order? We know your favorite restaurants. We know who you've been ordering from. No, no big deal if you don't want to order. But we were just saying, hey,
Just being helpful.
just being helpful. We just wanted to let you know that we would give you 10% off if you placed an order now."
Yeah, I like how you take on a totally different tone in your voice when you're being the nice guy marketing robot.
Yeah.
So really good. No, absolutely. So here's my like honest answer, and that's why I didn't immediately respond, because I'm like, oh shit. One, we're partly there,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. Okay, because so again, I mean, you would think I work for Amazon. I don't. I just really like their products and the way that they do their shit. They have this, and this is smart. They have this to where you can order things on a regular basis,
Subscription.
right?
Subscribe and save.
Remove, yeah, subscription, subscribe and save. There it is, right?
Mm.
There's the marketing term. Good for them. There's the mind share.
Yep.
There's the real estate taken, right? There it is. Subscribe and save. Now we know what that is. We know what that is. So I have that for my cat food, from my cat's cat food. So one, I could be a stellar cat parent by consistently getting food with ever fucking forgetting, because I allowed my digital assistant to handle that shit. So I said that, right? If the next thing is because I'm running into fucking other issues, not realizing that I need to put something on subscribe and save because life has become very hectic for me.
Right.
And that shit came out of nowhere and said, "Hey, I did this, by the way." It's like your significant other really knowing and reading you and doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So you give them trust. I mean, and it seems like these algorithms are based on your needs and wants. So I don't know. Do I?
They're getting more and more personal, and it's like I would want that. Like I would, but it's so much of a violation. Like it's okay if my wife were to say, "Hey Graham, I know that you're out of your favorite cereal. I'm going to pick that up at the grocery store." Okay?
Right.
Great.
And you're gonna
Fine.
love her for that.
That's excellent. If Google
Mhm.
says, "Hey, we've noticed that you're out of your favorite cereal because we heard you talking about it at the breakfast table this morning where you were complaining and we want to save your wife having to even go to the grocery store. We're going to add it to your shopping and ship that to you. Is that okay?" Or maybe
Right.
it just starts pulling money out of your accounts. Like, hey, if you keep $50 a month for your automatic needs fund,
You could set up automation.
yeah, you could set up automation for these things, and we'll just proactively go out and get you the things that you need as you go about your
Wow.
life, right? These are
Hmm.
tools that will happen, right?
Yeah.
I have
Agreed.
very little doubt that it's probably possible to do it now and
Now.
to do it almost in
Yeah.
such a seamless way that we would accept it. And it will be so seamless that most people will accept it, right? Um,
Yes. Well, and think about it on a larger scale. Like you have economies of scale, right? And you have larger
mhm,
groups of people, and we're only just getting larger as a society. I think that we may actually be trending downwards. Anyway, let's just say if we keep populating, we keep growing, just like the bigger way that manufacturing can grow to the needs of the people too, and proactively foresee that, I
mhm,
think is amazing also. So we're helping our systems, our larger systems of demand,
mhm.
being satisfied because they see the growth happen before we do, right?
Right.
I think that's analytics of scale, which like is hard for a human animal to really address like singularly, right?
Mhm.
Unless you're a data analytics specialist who's always looking at data and what drives people to purchase the shit that they purchase and all
Right.
of that. So it's crazy like that like the different systems that affect it. And some, I get why like you're hesitant and why like I'm hesitant, why everybody's hesitant. That's just wait, you're getting really private here.
Right.
You're getting to know everything. And somebody, the wrong person gets access to that,
Mhm.
what could they do to me? Right? That's where it gets scary. It's like you automate, but at what price?
Right.
Because then ultimately everything's out there for you to be controlled and manipulated easily.
Right. Yeah. If a
Easily.
malicious
So,
actor were to get this data, or were to somehow backdoor it out, what havoc could they
right.
cause? Now, you and I are probably not very high on the priority list, but there's a lot of rich, famous, influential people out there who
Yep.
also use these same services, and the
Right.
same vulnerabilities apply to them. So that's sort of an interesting thing, right? What havoc could be caused? I just thought of this. This is a terrible thought. What havoc could be caused by the compromisation? Compromisation? It,
I get it. I get good word.
if
Even if it's
Don,
not a word, we're making it a
yeah,
word now. Go ahead.
if Donald Trump's Twitter feed were to be compromised for, let's say, an hour, what damage
President of the
could be
United
done to
States.
the
Okay.
world?
Hmm.
We know he uses Twitter and likes to tweet things a lot, and he likes to tweet
True.
things that a lot of people would be like, you would perhaps be wiser to not tweet. So
Right.
there wouldn't even be a lot of people who are like, I can't believe he tweeted that. They'd be like, of course he tweeted that X
Of course he
thing,
tweeted that because
right?
he tweets everything that's
He
on his
tweets
mind.
everything, right? Seems to have no
Right.
filter, and so this thing that he's
Well
just
said.
tweeted is, yeah, we'll take it as face value.
Totally possible. Yep.
Yeah, that's a scary thought.
Yeah.
What's
It
his
is.
Twitter password? How long? How many characters is it?
So, those that
Does he have two
again,
factor
all of this stuff
authentication on?
is well, does he? Yeah, I would think so, being in the U.S. government, I would think you would have to, right? But who knows? How rigorous is our government?
I would imagine that like they would have said no, you
Who
can't use
knows?
Twitter, it's insecure. But no,
He does it anyway.
he continues to do it. You know.
Yeah. Well, so like any of this stuff is going to come up. Like we are going to get. We're already down that path, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
we just said, we give access. Period.
Right.
Because we want to use these tools and connect more. Period. So we still have the ability to like process, right? So if something does get compromised, you could still like use your wisdom and your zero trust values to go like, okay, where did it happen? Let me not just go for paranoid mode first, right? And think
Right.
somebody's out to get me. Maybe a hacker did get access to mine along with other people's data, and they did this, and it's not a bigger, larger scheme. Maybe it's this, and you can like break it down. I think a lot of people like go for the scariest thing once something happens because it seems more fun, right?
Yeah.
And that's another thing, like the looky loos and drama. So that's the thing that I want to
Hmm.
transition into because we were talking about emotions before.
Sure.
So I don't understand. Okay, I don't understand. It doesn't click. It doesn't hit for my brain. My brain has an aversion to this. When there is a traffic accident on the road, especially going the opposite way, like I keep going into flow traffic. I don't want to look. I don't even want to stop and look and see if I'm going to see something horrifying
Right.
because like it is no need, and that situation is not within my realm of anything I could do anything about,
Sure.
right? So like don't be within that. It's the same thing with like all kinds of things around the world that needs to be saving, that you could spend your energy on everything and eventually just die of old age and caring for everything and not actually doing a thing in your life. That's, I think, scary. That's not a life lived, right? So I don't think like that. But looky loos that stop on the freeway to see what's going on, take pictures, and slow down general society. And it's most of people, not just a small amount. It's
Right.
most people.
Right.
Why are they attracted to that stuff? The same thing is, why are people attracted to drama instead of logical, good discussion? Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand it. Logical discussion can still be passionate. It can
Yeah.
still have like some like vigor, some fight, right? You know, it doesn't have to be monotone and very boring in discussion in nature, like a fucking nature channel show. It can be exciting, like, right? So like, so I don't understand it. So I don't like why. I don't know. Are we real? Are we really at a core in society still these monkeys, these animal brained people, like being
I,
in
I
large
think
groups
so.
solely
Yeah.
affected? Yeah.
Like, um, well, let's go back to where we really started at the beginning with Doctor Disrespect,
Okay.
right? Um,
Yes. Nice.
Neither one of us really care about him in any real way, right?
I like him, just to let
Okay.
you know, for the record.
All right.
But yes, in general,
Even better.
no, he's just a person.
He's just a
There we go.
person.
Let's go.
So he he plays some sort of character. He has a Twitch
Mhm.
following. He makes news, and now we're talking about it, right? Drama has been created. Uh,
True.
ripples have
True.
rippled out, and it's like, why? Why do we care? Why do you like
Right?
him? What things about him do you like?
Things I like about him is he plays this character, okay, and he puts in work as an aging gamer
Mm-hmm.
every day to be
Mm-hmm.
good at FPS. He is classic in talking shit, and that's what I grew up on. That was what we called it in guy groups. We called camaraderie.
Mm-hmm.
I think a large camaraderie in guys groups today is very much attacked as misogynistic and
Mm.
very like it's slammed. I disagree. Like I think it's a great way for boys to be boys and get their punches in. But at the end of the day, after you're done, you know, you pull each other up. You know, you wipe the fucking dust off the back. You know, you laugh about it and you move on. He's
Mm-hmm.
fucking good at that. He's good at people putting people in check that try to troll him. Like he is the moniker of what I grew up as, is to know to be like just a guy, right? And
Mm.
so that's why I respect him, because he's a personality that stays true to who he is, and he lets, when he does like do things that affect who he is as a person, like when he had that whole drama with him and his wife, he comes out, says it, and just handles it. That's like all full frontal, like just transparency. So
Mm.
that's what I like. I really do like about him. So yeah,
But now he's gone dark. He could explain
I
what's
know
going on, unless,
he
of
could.
course, there was some legal thing going on,
That's like I said. Yep, one of the two things for me.
right?
Go ahead.
So it's interesting is that what what makes him likable and interesting is also the same thing that has now got him into trouble. It seems.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. Not everybody's perfect. I know. So we're about to see. So I just said that, right? About how much I love and respect him, right? If something comes out that that destroys like that characterization of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because like the permanent ban, or what people are hypothesizing, could have something to do with sexual harassment, could have something to do with other things, because he's also obviously already expressed that he has a problem with that, right? Because it's already created previous drama in his life.
Right.
And there's been like a whirl of hits about that on Twitch, period, anyway.
Yep.
So like, who knows? And that could really just slam that and go like, do you see what guy culture really does?
Mm.
Right. And that's what somebody could say, and I could be like, yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess I could see that point. So yeah, you're right. Like, this is going to be very interesting to see what's what. But nobody's perfect, right?
Yeah.
And this is not in no way, shape, or form saying whatever happens, whatever like it comes out of what has been found out, and whether he's permanent banned or banned for like a temporary time, it's going to be what it is. It is what it is, and I'm not like condoning anything that he will or won't have done, whatever it is. It's
Well,
just
we don't
interesting
know, right?
to
So
see. Yeah, we don't know.
that's as
There,
zero trust. All we can say is that we apparently know he's banned. Don't know, but we can speculate endlessly, and
Yep.
that's the kind of dangerous emotional drama that causes problems, right? Is when you extend out these facts and are like, based on past history, based on this, based on how he is, I think it's probably this. Maybe, maybe not.
Yep. Maybe not. Yeah. No, you're right. So that's why I just like don't have the data, so I'm just waiting. And there you go. And that's one of those things where I don't think people like. Especially now, like we have access to everything
Mm-hmm.
at our fingertips, right? It's like, let me find out,
Yeah.
because all I have to do is talk to Uncle Google. Uncle
Yeah.
Google knows everything.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Which is
let
uh-oh.
me talk about that, because that's the second part
Let's talk about that.
of that discussion that we were having about the sort of anticipatory power of these devices as they build up their blueprints of what and who we are, right? Because that's what data mining and the analysis of all this stuff is really about. What sort of cereal do you like? What sort of car do you drive? Where do you go to work? What sort of hobbies and activities do you engage in, right?
Right.
Google is really, really interested in feeding you information at the same time. That was Google's primary function, search engine. Return results based on a query. They got so good that usually you don't even need to query now, right? You can just go into your Google News, and Google News tells me the stories that it thinks I want to know, right? I don't even have to go tell me what's happening. It's just like, hey, this is how I know about the Dr. Disrespect thing, right? I didn't search for what is going on with Dr. Disrespect. I don't care that much.
Right.
But Google was like, you do care. Let me tell you about it.
Because you're on Twitch, the platform.
I was like, damn, I do care.
So here you go.
So let me read the article. Let me.
You didn't think you were interested?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let us see. Yeah, are you going to click on it?
We know you better than you know yourself, right?
Oh, so good call. Well,
it's like this feed that is. They may not be sending you products yet, but they're sending you packaged information. They're sending you package control. Right?
Got it.
Not control. That's too strong a word. But they're sending you points of view. They're sending you topics of discussion.
Yeah,
right?
they're sending you like things to be interested in, right? They're sending you things to keep your focus and attention on, right?
Right.
So if it keeps you in the sphere of what keeps you happy, Twitch, right? That sphere, then maybe that's what you need more of, right? And that's what it's doing. It's keeping you up to date on the thing that you're invested and interested in. Who knows? And I would think that, like, as in a basic level, yes. And it makes sense. It makes sense why you mentioned that, and I'm like, shit, you're right. Because every time I pull into my like Chrome, it's one of the things, right? I'll check my socials and I'll check that. So it's another social feed.
Yeah.
That goes like, hey, here's what's interesting.
Yeah.
And I get through, and I'll actually update and go like, this is not interesting to me. Don't ever fucking show me shit about this ever again. Yes. It's like, cool. Well, want to tell me more? Sometimes I'm like, yeah, I'll tell you more. Otherwise I'm like, fuck you. You don't need to know about that shit.
Right.
And I just move on. So it's great. Like, you do get options to tailor your stuff but you didn't have to set that up.
it is a synergistic thing, right? It's like, yes, we have to
Yeah,
deliver the best information to you, but not really the best
right.
information as in what would grant you the best view of reality. It's what you're gonna click on and what you're not gonna give us that thumbs down and say, don't give me more of this, right?
Right.
Give me
We're
more
going to give
about
you stuff that's going to keep you coming back to this app,
to this
to
app,
this area,
right?
to this thing that I'm feeding you.
Yep. And it's generally drama and uncertainty, which is why I noticed that our chat sort of popped off when we started talking about Doc. Like, are we talking about
Start talking
Doc?
about,
Yeah, we
yeah.
are. Welcome to
Wait, so
Zero Trust.
welcome in, Geek Out. So so it looks like he actually quoted what Dr. Disrespect did, because that wasn't out. I knew as far as yesterday, and I didn't look into it today. But Geek Out, do you have a time on this? But I'll just read it. But it says Twitch has not notified me of the specific reason behind their decision. Firm handshakes to all for the support during this difficult time. Writes Dr. Disrespect. His last stream seemed like he knew it was coming, though. See, I love that you said that, Geek Out, but here's what we're going to do is I'm going to apply this zero trust logic that we do to like everything.
Mm-hmm.
Go through with me what was the assessment? What did you do that made you state it seemed like he knew it was coming? Because you're using hindsight, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like you knew something else. Like, so like it would be cool. Okay, so 9 p.m. last night. Good. So thank you, Geek Out. So but as we're talking, go ahead and respond to that. Like how you came with the assessment of like it's almost like he was prepared and knew about it. That doesn't like I don't disagree with you, because I think that does sound right, especially because he hasn't said anything, which seems like it's more of a legal action that may have been building. And now it's the time to where they can't say anything because they've just made the move to ban and they're waiting to actually work it out what their official statement is, because they're doing a lot of this with a lot of different people. So I get it. I'm not doubting you specifically, but I am doubting you also because we want to put everything through zero trust. We want to like let's break it down. How did you really come to it? So I can also go like, yeah, you know what? I kind of agree with that even more too. But yeah.
There's a second rumor that I want to talk about a little bit while we
Okay.
sort of break off
Perfect.
from this. I hear, I've heard, I've read, I've seen that tomorrow there's going to be a heavy ban hammer on Reddit. We will see.
Could you give me more than just Reddit? Like, what do you mean?
Okay, so
Banhammer on Reddit, like banning Reddit?
Reddit
Be more
subreddits.
specific.
Subreddits.
Okay.
Certain
Okay. Which
subreddits.
ones?
I don't know. The information was unclear. I saw this in the conspiracy subreddit, so take that for what you will. But then also I saw it referenced, not directly, but like, hey, there's some things that are going to happen tomorrow, and this subreddit may not be here tomorrow because Chinese, right? There's investment of Tencent into Reddit. That's public knowledge. Everybody knows that. And the question is, how much influence does China have over Reddit now as a social platform? Unclear.
Okay.
Who is really
interesting?
Who is really the owner of the monetized data that's coming out of Reddit, and how will they use that?
That we're gonna need, okay, so we're gonna go into this a little bit, but we're definitely gonna need this for the next episode.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if this happens tomorrow, or if it's just a rumor.
Well, it will. Yeah. What agency? What importance do we place on countries from here on out? Is my first question that we'll probably we'll try to address next week, because who cares? Who cares what country owns what company? I mean, there's no one company that can do no wrong. So why is one company versus another like better equipped to own a business, or let alone invest in and build one, right? You know, that is popular. The markets are going to determine whether they're going to stay in or not. I think so. What does it really matter country wide? And I'm sure it does. I mean, it absolutely does. I know it does, especially for financial implications, right? Has to do with how the country's structured as well. But like ultimately, being a citizen of the United States, I'm not like I wouldn't choose us to be the leaders, like because we do all kinds of shady shit. So like, not really. So like, who could do like worse? I don't know. You know, are we
it's not that. It's
Do we
like,
have our best interest in mind? Yeah, go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
should we allow, or I guess, how do we judge the all of these platforms have no uh, legal responsibility for what's posted.
True.
At the same
Right.
time, they don't have any legal responsibility for free speech to allow anything to be
Right.
there. They can
Right.
arbitrarily ban anything that they want for any reason, right? So who controls that? If they can allow any content up to certain very, very clearly illegal things, right? You can't
Right.
post like instructions to murder a politician. That would be definitely illegal, right? That crosses the line
Right.
for sure. Um, but there's a lot of opinions that are clearly dangerous and wrong that don't violate any sort of free speech, right? You could say that out on the street, like that's an American value. I could go out and I could say XYZ are terrible people and they should all be kicked out of this country.
Okay.
Not politically good if I did that, but certainly
Right.
legal for me to say. But any platform that I were to do that on would have absolute right to say you can't say that on our platform. So each
Right.
platform is sort of like its own independent country
Right.
in that
Yes.
it determines what speech is allowed on its platform.
Right.
We could
Go
theoretically
ahead.
be banned from Twitch for having this discussion,
Agreed.
right? They don't want
Agreed.
us talking
It's
about the Dr. Disrespect thing. They're like, that's, you just want to shut that down. That's not, we're a gaming streaming site. We don't need this philosophical discussion of legality.
right. Critical
free
analysis.
speech.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Get rid of those zero trust
Agreed.
guys.
Yeah, well, so no, and that's one of the things that I am like starting to not like Twitch because it's becoming less and less about the freedom. Well, but it's not even Twitch's fault. It's that they've actually took a long time to make moves,
Mm-hmm.
but this more and more the society's push to like these companies need to be held responsible and they need to stop the communication. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Let's have a
Mm-hmm.
conversation. Nobody needs to shut down shit. We all need to have conversations. And the people that like have disagreeable commentary are going to be not listened to, right? That's how you choose. You don't watch it, right?
Mm.
It's and I get that like there's this
But people
platforming
do
of
watch it.
people that are dangerous, but people to watch it. Yeah, but that's no. Once you say like once you all of a sudden determine a group of people that get to determine who gets to say what, game over. Slippery slope, falling down.
Yeah.
No, we don't go anywhere from that. We're all fucked because no, that's just not okay. We need to be able to critique the critiquer. Like we need to be able to fight back against the group that says what is and what isn't. That's not freedom. Like that's like we need to communicate. I don't care if somebody has something terrible to say. I don't care if they have a word that they don't like being said. Like
Mhm.
I really don't care about it. They can say it to me all day long. It's just going to make for not fun, interesting discussion. And if that's all they say, then like this just we don't engage with them. Like it's as easy as that. Like I don't get it.
All right.
I don't get
It's
it. It's
as
another
easy
thing
as
that I'm
that
frustrated with. But
from our perspective, right?
true.
But
True.
if hypothetically we were in charge of the platform and we were making a lot of money and we were then in a position where we would make a lot less money because all of the Nazis are like, hey, those
choosing
guys,
our platform because we allow it.
those guys are letting us say whatever we want. Let's go to that platform. Well,
Right.
do we want to be associated with National Socialism as an ideology? No.
No,
So
but
let's
if people
ban 'em.
don't know how to practice zero trust and
Right.
figure out the difference between a platform and the people within the platform, critical thinking out the window. That's what we were been addressing this whole fucking cast in these 8 episodes. So
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay. Maybe that's the thing. We start our own platform. Okay, Entropy Sword. Start our own
Maybe.
platform. We let everybody say whatever the fuck they want, and
Right.
we see how much it blows up, and how much people go like, "Ooh, this is cool, free speech. Ooh, I don't like this." Good. Like let's have some discussions. Let's do it because like just shutting everybody down because Karen's mad. Not a good enough. Sorry, not good enough. Did something make you feel uncomfortable? Okay, not good enough. Right? We're still gonna fucking talk.
We can't sell Karen her McDonald's if she's all upset. We need to give her a safe space. where we can properly market these things.
Maybe that's what makes people go to McDonald's because they get so stressed out they need to fucking stress eat.
Uh,
Dude, now we're
Probably.
getting deep.
Oh.
Anyway, all right. So Geek Out referenced it. He said he kept referring to everyone that we will get through this tough time, and
Uh-huh.
kept checking his phone throughout the stream. So I'm assuming you're saying to his last stream, right?
Mm.
Ended with a scared face and said "fuck." Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
I'm wondering what time his stream ended, but I know it was pretty early on Friday. Again, that it happened on Friday. Again, really, I think plays a little more into my troll theory, right? Because Mixer just shutting down, and them really Twitch has been really good, and Dr. Disrespect especially has been really good at building up hype for
Mm.
stuff he gets involved in. So you never know. Again, I may be eating a lot of crow here if it's not that, but again, I put up two different things, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with being wrong, and I'll admit I'm wrong, which is okay. It's actually fun to be wrong. It's always that I've put a little skin in the game and I tried something out. Okay, it's okay. Um, Rumors are going around. He was trying to convince top level streamers to leave Twitch with him and go to a rival service being made by Spotify.
Now
Interesting, Geek Out. So that
that
stuff you
is.
need sources and stuff on, but
Mhm.
that stuff is pretty um that's a strong statement that I wouldn't have known about, but that's interesting. And good for Spotify, just because Spotify has just recently got Joe Rogan, right? So like you're seeing all these plays happen
Mhm.
with different people. But again, I mean, it's not just about one person. It's about like everybody, and trends change, right? Everybody could get sick of Joe Rogan and start listening to other things. So like, or Dr. Disrespect, just the same thing was like Shroud and Ninja's viewership fucking plummeted when they went to Mixer. They didn't care because they got money, and good
Mhm.
for them, right? Good for them. But also, I think they lost a little bit of what they built up, and the camaraderie that you have on Twitch is something that's different that I do appreciate. But again, those are my biases, and I will
Right.
admit those freely. Those are things that I like that make me feel cozy and good.
Mhm.
Cozy.
I mean, that
Jesus.
that would explain the sort of legal ramifications. But if he was
Right.
planning on going to a new service by Spotify, I don't think he would be scared and say fuck at the end. He'd be like, "Well, I guess this is over. I'm out. I'll see you soon somewhere else." That's how I'd end
Right.
it.
The weird thing is like he just, I think I want to say March of this year recently like negotiated for a very good contract with Twitch.
Right.
So that this comes out there, that seems weird. Like, so this is why this is really kind of like puts my brain in a knot, because it's like this is he just signed this stuff and he had intention of doing that, what Geek Out is suggesting that people are suggesting. That makes no logical sense to me. So there's either a play factor there, or there's that shit's just wrong, because something that doesn't logically compute, right? Why get a good contract and then also go like, okay, cool guys, I know I just got this cool contract, but let's go find another competing service over at Spotify.
Right.
Let's go do
Which
that.
we don't
Let's go do
even know
that.
exists. Is there any evidence that
Exactly.
Spotify is going to start a new streaming service, like a video
Yeah.
service? I'm not
Who
aware of
knows?
any.
Yeah. Well, they're getting into cast stuff, right? And
Yeah,
by the
they
way,
got
we
Rogan. You're
really
right
should get
about
this
that.
onto different things. We need to get our cast onto other platforms, motherfuckers, including
Well,
Spotify.
yeah, I guess we should. I mean, we're on
Yes, we
YouTube,
should.
so
Well, true. We are on YouTube. Take that, Twitch.
take
We'll have to
that,
take your
Twitch.
your affiliate thing if you, well, because that's the thing is like once you sign the affiliate thing, there's some other things that like this can go up. I think not within 24 hours of the live stream.
Right.
There's a couple of things that you sign that basically state like you are beholden to us, the
Yeah.
one and only affiliate power of Twitch.
Yeah. Well, that goes back
For
again to that conversation of what is our price? What would we be willing to take the money for, and what contracts would we be willing to sign?
right. Well, so on that, that's where I get a clear answer as well, which is like I won't like give up my morals, that what I want to do, which is to basically talk in a free speech way, right?
Yeah.
So if I had to just do them and I couldn't do other services and that's something I wanted to do, I would actually say no, I'm against it.
Hmm.
I'm against signing that contract, right? So much to even maybe even leave the platform.
Yeah.
However much I like it, but yeah, that's for me where it would be like if I have to give up some of my moral values that I hold true and I apply to my zero trust. No, like that's just not good. That's affecting my core, right? And
Hmm.
once you affect your core, you become corrupted.
Well, this brings up a really old concept that doesn't get talked about much, and that's honor, integrity. and
Mm.
sort of
Standing for something.
not standing for something, but being
Okay.
predictable in your values, right? If we
Okay.
say that we're going to be zero trust and that we're going to approach life and approach our conversations with a certain integrity, and then we betray that, uh, it might, in the short term, monetarily be good, and the capitalist society says go ahead and do that because the value of money is absolute. But I would
Right.
argue that my personal integrity, my honors as a critical thinker, is such that I can't make that trade. There's something that's
Right.
more valuable than just money, and that's sort of,
Yeah.
easy to say as long as you have enough money.
Yeah, well, yeah, good point. I think here's the weird thing though is like I wouldn't even be able to uphold that end of the bargain, right? You know, even if I signed that contract, because I so live by the heart, right?
Mm.
And those things will come out, and I'll say this shit that they're like, "Hey, wait, we told you you can't say that or you can't do that."
Mm-hmm.
Like that's one of those things where it's like, "Oh fuck, I got myself into trouble." So like it's good like that I have that built in, but also I know that I have strong emotional responses, right? So it goes back to the what I told you, what we were talking about a little earlier is checking emotional response to like if I'm having a huge emotional response, I can't logically deduce anything until I cool off. Like so I
Right.
need to settle that down. So yeah, it's just a part of me that like I appreciate. It's a good warning sign indicator. But it can also take me in all kinds of places that are not the right places.
Mm.
Yeah.
You do make mistakes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
We do make mistakes, and it'll be interesting to see who made the mistake when that whole Dr. Disrespect thing comes out. But yeah, there it is. Well, we're just over time. I think this
yes,
has
we are.
been yet another wonderful fucking conversation. It
Yeah, we
always
didn't get
just,
to
I
anything
love how it
really
flows.
on the dock.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
or that not Doctor Disrespect, but our document of what we were going to talk about. Um, but we touched on a lot of themes that are in there, and so um,
yes,
I hope you guys enjoyed it. And talking about these like actual current events and how we think about them and how we try to dig a little bit deeper than just the rumor mill, just the fed information that you get from your news feed. That comes to you easily. The Zero Trust Cast is a little bit more of an in-depth, challenging, uh, adversarial, not in a bad way, but in the best way.
in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we,
Yeah, I want to thank Geek Out for actually like providing to the discussion, because that helped us give a real life example of how we make assessments and we throw things out there, and how and I'm not even saying that you didn't like go through your set of like how you figure out trust Geek Out. I think you did a pretty good job of the stuff that you said and how you responded as well. It just gives us a real time example for us to use
yeah,
that is on everybody's mind, so it makes it more accessible. Some of these things we talk about is like you have to extrapolate and be in your brain, right? And you're not. Also, we're really engaged because we're here having a discussion right now that we're responding to each other off of, and some of you watching may not. You're tertiary engaged, so like it may not be fully engaging, and sometimes you're like, what are they actually thinking about when they're talking about this right now? Because
right.
I really don't see any how that connects. So thank you for providing that. Like that's, I think, really helpful for like examples that we need to go through. Like how do you apply this zero trust concept? I think that's great. Like to question all those statements, those feeling words, those things that like don't sum up clearly and concisely facts, data.
Yeah,
Clearly at this time this happened, charges this person by this, right? Those are clear, whereas like rumors going around kept referring, like those things are like other stuff that we use to make things sound more credible. And yes, and that may be,
yeah.
but maybe not. And
It's
this is what's great
information,
about it is
but it's
it's
not
information.
truth. Not truth
Yeah,
yet. Right. We need to
not
dig a
yet.
little deeper, and
Yeah,
hopefully we've done that. And
yeah.
I
And we'll
think,
find out the actual truth. So this will be fun
yeah,
too, as well as actually
that's
finding
always
out.
that's really what thinking is about. Let me end on this, if I may. Um,
Sure.
Thinking is about modeling your future based on your past
Ooh,
memories and your thoughts, right? Trying to
okay.
figure out what is happening. And you should always check. You should think, okay, I think that Dr. Disrespect is banned because X. And then you should check and see if you were right, right? Don't just assume that you're right. Go back and do some homework on it and see whether or not your model was correct.
Right.
And it may in fact be correct. There may be a Spotify
Right.
deal, right?
Yeah.
And
Uh,
that will be
Is
interesting
it
to
correct
know.
for the reasons that you assessed, right?
Right.
Did you get right just because you were lucky?
Mm.
Also, right? And so that can fill in your data, like your how you approach things. It gives you extra tools that you can use to build a stronger zero trust policy, if you will, in your
Yeah.
head. I do.
So
Well said, man. I love that. Check.
yeah, that's your remediation, right? That's on our document. How do you remediate?
Yes. How do you
Well,
remediate?
you check your results of your thinking, and we'll
Right.
talk about that next week at 8 o'clock on Sunday for Zero Trust Cast episode 9.
Yeah, exactly. Because we just finished our favorite one because it's my favorite number in the world. It also is an infinity number, number 8. Thank you guys for being here. I'm Dark
Yep.
D. This is the wonderful Entropy Sword. We'll be bringing it live to you next week as well. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
All right. Let me know when you stop so that I don't just disconnect.
We're stopped.